Praise be to God, there is no other God except God. There are three main apparent contradictions between me and Rashad, which the disbelievers use as excuses to discredit me. I address each of them in 3 separate Friday sermons, and this is one of them. In this video, I deal with the issue of Zakat, what Rashad said and what I say. They claim that I contradict Rashad about Zakat. Well, let's see if that's true. Let me first present to you what Rashad himself actually said about this issue, and by the end of this video, I will prove to you that there is no contradiction between me and Rashad the messenger, but actually there is only an apparent contradiction between Rashad the messenger and Rashad the Tucson imam, which I resolve. But first, let me present to you what Rashad himself said. He spoke about it in 2 videos. Video 1, Essentials of Islam, and video 2, a Friday sermon. He says something else about Zakat in video 1 and something else in video 2. Let's hear him. Video 1.
The 4th pillar of Islam is charity. In Arabic, Zakat. There is an obligatory charity where you sit down and you calculate exactly what you possess, what your possessions are, and you give away a portion, a fixed portion of your net worth. You do this once a year, and then you give away 2.5% of that. See, it's a small percentage, and you do it once a year.
Now let's hear Rashad in video 2.
2.5% of your net income must go to the poor immediately, which means a continuous flow of money from people to their relatives, their parents and their cousins and their sisters and brothers and so on. That's the correct way of doing zakat.
So in video 1, Rashad preached obligatory charity based on wealth, which is done once a year, but in video 2, he preached obligatory charity based on income done every time you receive income. So in reality, there is no contradiction between me and Rashad, as I will show, but if anything, there is a contradiction between Rashad and himself, between Rashad in this video and Rashad in this video. Now the question is, in which video was he right? Well, let's actually evaluate the authority of these 2 videos, according to Rashad himself. First, as you can see, he did not put a date on video 1, which means that he meant it for all times, speaking for all times, but he showed the date in video 2. You can see the date here, 17/03/1989, which means that what he said in video 2, he intended it for that specific time. So speaking for the 17th of March, 1989. Second, in video 1, he is facing the camera, speaking to the whole world. So speaking to the whole world. And in video 2, he is facing the local congregation in Tucson. So speaking to the Tucson congregation. Third, in video 1, Rashad introduces the video as a presentation from the Quran. Hear him.
The Quran tells us exactly what the essentials of Islam are. And they are very quickly. I'm going to go into details of these later on.
So video 1 is based on the Quran. Based on the Quran. But in video 2, Rashad introduces the sermon as a presentation of a pamphlet, which he wrote as an editor of a bulletin. Hear him.
I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I put down, this will help me a lot. This is something that I distributed last week, and I will just go through it with you. It is the main issue of the Muslim perspective.
So video 2 is based on a pamphlet meant for May 1989. So based on a pamphlet. Now the 4th point. Rashad starts video 1 with the statement, "In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful." Hear him.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful.
So in this video, he is speaking on behalf of God, which means that he was speaking as God's messenger. So video 1 is preached by Rashad the messenger. Preached by Rashad the messenger. But in video 2, he introduces the preaching with an admittance that he is doing it as a substitute for someone else, and he also admits that he has no idea what he will talk about. Hear him.
I was hoping today that the sermon would be given by General Spooner, but he didn't make it yet. He'll be here tonight. Meanwhile, I'm stuck. So I'm stuck to give this khutbah, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about.
So since Rashad had no idea what he was going to talk about, he was not doing this preaching as God's messenger. A messenger knows what he talks about. So actually Rashad was just freestyling as the leader of the congregation in video 2. So video 2 is not preached by Rashad the messenger, but it is preached by Rashad the two-son imam. So preached by Rashad the two-son imam. So now we have the 4 credentials of each of these 2 videos, according to Rashad himself, which helps us decide which video to go with, because these 2 videos contradict one another today when it comes to the issue of zakat. So should we go with video 1 or video 2? What do you think? Let us think about it. Which video should we go with? Video 1, speaking for all times, or video 2, speaking for a specific date? Video 1, speaking to the whole world, or video 2, speaking to the two-son congregation? Video 1, based on the Quran, or video 2, based on a pamphlet? Video 1, preached by Rashad the messenger, or video 2, preached by Rashad the two-son imam? So, messenger, imam. Messenger, imam. Messenger, imam. I'll go with the messenger. So I'm going with the messenger fully, whatever Rashad says in video 1. So there's no contradiction between what I say and what Rashad the messenger said. If anything, there is a contradiction between what Rashad the messenger said and what Rashad the two-son imam said. So the problem here is the imam and not the messenger. And people think that because video 2 was made later than video 1, then it is a correction of video 1. Well, this argument would be valid if the person in video 2 had the authority to correct the person on video 1. But he doesn't. An imam does not have the authority to correct a messenger. An imam cannot correct a messenger. He thought that he did, but it doesn't ultimately matter what the imam thought. It matters what the messenger thought. And what the messenger thought is in video 1 and not in video 2. And I completely agree with video 1. And I'm forced to declare parts of video 2 as outdated. For our circumstances, a mistake. So we go with the messenger in video 1, regardless of what the imam in video 2 might have thought about video 1. And by the way, Rashad the messenger never corrected video 1. He kept it published just like that until he died. He did not change any bit of it. He had the time and the authority to change it and edit it, but he didn't. Because God knew that video 1 is correct. And it is actually some parts in video 2 which are the mistake. However, I kind of feel sorry for Rashad the two-son imam in video 2, because I'm kind of exposing his mistake. So let me actually try to save his face by trying to justify his mistake. When you look at it, the mistake of Rashad the imam was actually harmless in his situation. It's harmful for our situation today if we insist on that mistake, but it was harmless for his situation. And here is what I mean by this. When Rashad talked about zakat in video 2, he said it in a very specific situation. And in that same video, about 1 minute before he starts talking about zakat, he does in passing mention that situation. Here is what he says.
There is not a single mosque in the Muslim world that follows this commandment, that the mosque belongs to God. It should mention only God's name.
Now this is the key issue. What does this mean? This means that because traditionally the Muslims have organized their own mosques, given that during the time of Rashad there was no single mosque where the call for prayer was done correctly, that means that there were no organized aspects of religion in the world which were authorized by God. And zakat, as it should be performed, as it is said in video 1, is an organized religious duty. So when Rashad made that mistake in video 2, the mistake was harmless because it was actually better to do less of the zakat than to do the correct zakat under the wrong organized religious structures. Let me take an example and show you how an unintentional mistake can actually be beneficial instead of harmful. Let's say that you ask me when the month of Ramadan starts, and I make a mistake and tell you that it will start 1 week earlier than it truly starts. Now that's harmful. However, let's say that on that mistaken day, when I said that Ramadan will start, the whole food of the world is actually poisoned. And by fasting on the wrong day, I actually unintentionally saved your life. Because during that day, you did not eat the food. And then by the time you had to eat it, the others who got poisoned informed you that the food is poisoned. So in the same way, if all the organized zakat around the world was poisoned, which it was when Rashad made that statement, then he actually unintentionally saved you from idol worship by making a mistake about zakat. And we know whether organized zakat, the correct way of zakat, is poisoned or not by checking if the people who organize it are doing their call to prayer dedicated to God alone or not. So during Rashad's time, all the mosques made the call to prayer in the wrong way. But today, there are mosques, including our mosque, including our online mosque, where we do not use the wrong way of the call to prayer. So there are organized people today who actually do organize the zakat in the correct way, which means that doing the zakat as preached in video 1 will not be harmful at all anymore. And because it is the correct way, that is what we should do. So to put it shortly, video 1 is the correct way and video 2 is a mistake. However, during Rashad's time, video 1 was harmful while video 2 was harmless. However, today in our situation, video 1 is both harmless and correct. And the change of situation is reflected by the fact that now we do have mosques where the call to prayer, which represents the organized religion, is done correctly. So this is how I justify Rashad's mistake, even though it was a mistake. But it was harmless in his times. But it is harmful for our times. And now that we have mosques where the correct call to prayer is made, we should not insist on that old mistake. We have the means to do better now, especially because of the internet, which enables us to organize without idol worship, if that is what we choose. So to conclude, I do not contradict Rashad. In today's situation, Rashad the Imam has ended up contradicting Rashad the Messenger. And I'm simply telling you how to resolve that situation, by simply telling you to follow Rashad the global messenger instead of Rashad the local Imam. Now, even if we ignore these two videos completely and don't even think about how these two videos contradict each other today, if we focus on what the Quran actually says about zakat, we can still get the correct answer from there. And according to the Quran, we should give zakat from 2.5% of our loanable wealth each year. And we can find this answer if we choose to take into account all the verses of the Quran, everything that the Quran has to say about obligatory charity. And if we take all those verses, which are hundreds, and analyze them carefully, without ignoring any verses, then we will reach the same conclusion. And to save your time, I did that for you. And I present it in my video clarification titled Obligatory Charity Zakat. So in that video, I restarted from scratch, completely ignoring what anyone thinks about zakat. And after years of analysis, after finding, listing, arranging all the verses of the Quran about this issue, a clear picture emerged, with God's permission, that zakat is basically given from 2.5% of the loanable wealth every year, which is what Rashad the Messenger preached in video 1. And what I preach in my video clarification titled Obligatory Charity Zakat, which means that there is absolutely full agreement between Rashad the Messenger and me, between me and video 1. It is actually those who are not doing zakat like us who are contradicting Rashad the Messenger by going with Rashad the local Imam, outside of his intended time, outside of his intended place, outside of his intended permission, and outside of his intended authority. An abuse of the Imam's local mistake of his time to contradict the global messenger of the covenant for our time.